Let's multiply fractions. There's a few things to remember. One, we always want to reduce our fractions when we're done, right? You never want to leave a fractional answer when it can be reduced. So just keep that in mind. Now, when we multiply fractions, one thing to remember is that if you are multiplying, you can reduce before you multiply. It is the only operation that you can reduce first. And that means we can look to from the numerator to the denominator. Are there any common factors in those two pieces? Now, if you don't know, or if you're looking and going, well, how am I supposed to know? Well, just go ahead and multiply. So when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. So the two numerators, 2 times 5, gives me 10. And the denominator, 3 times 7, is 21. Now, at this point, you say, okay, 10 and 21, do they share any common factors? Does a number divide evenly into both of them? And the answer for this case is no, because 10 is 2 times 5 and 1 times 10, and 21 is 1 times 21 or 3 times 7. The only one of those that matches is 1, and dividing by 1 does nothing, right? So that is just our answer. All right, so now let's look at 4/5 times 7/8. And again, we can compare numerator to denominator first. And if you notice, we have 4 and an 8. So when I have the 4 and the 8, I can say, hey, 4 and 8 can both be divisible by 4. So if I say, okay, I'm going to divide this by 4, and I'm going to divide this one by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I can rewrite this problem as 1/5 times 7/2. So you're just simplifying the problem first. Now when I multiply straight across, 1 times 7 is 7, 5 times 2 is 10. Now let's back up and look at our initial problem. 4 times 7 is 28, 5 times 8 is 40. Both of these are divisible by 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7, 40 divided by 4 is 10, and notice the answer is the same. So whether you reduce before you multiply or after, it doesn't matter. It just sometimes is easier at the beginning because your numbers tend to be a little smaller. That's the only benefit. So looking at this one, 12/13 times 39/40. Yikes. This one, if you multiply first, could get really big. And here's what I want to show you. If you say, hey, 12 and 40 are both even. Great, start there. Divide both of these by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 40 divided by 2 is 20. Okay, let's just do that. So I have 6/13 times 39/20. Awesome. There's no wrong first step. It might take you a couple more to get there, but that's fine. Again, I see 6 and 20, they're both even. Let's divide by 2 again. Okay, so 6 divided by 2 is 3. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So now I have 3/13 times 39/10. So right there, that makes this problem a lot nicer. If you're ready to multiply, you can multiply. Otherwise, you might notice 13 and 39. Okay, so 13 times 1, 13 times 2, 13 times 3. Okay, so that's kind of the idea of if you don't really know. So when you get to numbers like 13, 17, well, really anything bigger than like 10, it might help to just write them out, right? 13 times 1 is 13. 13 times 2 is 26. 13 times 3 is 39. And now I have that. That means if I divide both of these by 13, I'm going to be able to reduce. So 13 divided by 13 is 1. 39 divided by 13 is 3. So now my new problem is 3/1 times 3/10. I multiply straight across. My final answer is 9/10. So notice it doesn't matter how many times you have to reduce. It's okay if it takes you multiple steps. The key is when you see something, right? If you see that it's divisible by 2, do it. Divide by 2. It's going to make your number smaller, which makes it easier to see factors and if they have common factors. So try to make your problems as easy as possible. 1/2 times 4/5. Well, now we have some really small numbers. But notice 2 and 4 are both even. That means I can divide them by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I can rewrite my problem 1/1 times 2/5. When I multiply straight across, I get 2 times 5. I highly recommend like if you have colored pencils or something, color coding things, right? Draw in your arrows that you're multiplying across. It's just going to help keeping things organized for you. Okay, so let's go. I think this is our, oh, nope, we have two more. 5 6 times 2 fifteenths. This one, we're going to reduce both ways. So 5 and 15 are both reducible by 5. So let's do those first. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then 6 and 2 are both even, so they divide by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I can rewrite this as 1 over 3 times 1 over 3. Multiply straight across, and I get 1/9. And let's do one more. 3/4 times 8/9. These last two just show that we can cancel out both ways or reduce both ways. So 3 and 9 are both reducible by 3. So I get 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 4 and 8 are both reducible by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I end up with 1 over 1 times 2 over 3. When I multiply straight across, I get 2/3. And that's multiplying fractions.